Welcome along then to the magnificent Suzuka International Circuit, a stone's throw away from Ise Bay in the beautiful Japanese countryside. What surprises lie in wait for us today in the Japanese Grand Prix? A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about night. Everything's on the line here today and the title hangs in the balance. So how do you think they'll be coping with all that pressure?
By trying not to think about the result too much. The worst thing you can do in this situation is think about all the what-ifs. What if I get hit going into turn 1? What if I get a penalty? What if I finish outside the points? If you let any of those kind of worries get to you, you can't focus on the job, so staying in the right mindset will be critical today.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Knight lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Pierre Gasly, and Perez, Albon, Ricciardo, Sainz, and Lance Stroll, Hamilton, Norris, Esteban Ocon, and Raikkonen, Kvyat, Magnussen, Romain Grosjean, and George Russell, Giovinazzi, and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, let's get the car up to temperature on this lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can. Conditions look stable at the moment. No rain currently expected. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch. was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. We've got a lot of spare energy. Use your overtake button. Gap to teammate behind is 14.2 seconds. Issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. The gap to the car behind is 13.1 seconds. Some information on Norris. They are out of the race. Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Safety car deployed. The safety car has been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack. Confirmed. Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. Approaching the safety car. You're leading, so don't pass it. Stay behind the safety car. Safety car is in this lap, safety car in this lap. You will be controlling the pace on the restart. Keep it steady until the safety car has reached the pit lane. Okay, clear. Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy. been enabled. DRS is now enabled. There's 70 laps of fuel remaining. We're leading our teammate by 22.3 seconds. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. There's 14 laps of fuel remaining. increasing our gap on the car behind by around a second a lap. We have 10 laps of fuel remaining. There's 10 laps of fuel remaining. No need to worry about tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good. We're leading our teammate by 36.9 seconds. They're on old hards. They're in 8th. The time last lap was a 1:38.7. There's 9 laps of fuel remaining. Gap to teammate behind is 38.1 seconds. Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button more. There's 6 laps of fuel remaining. This is your final lap of the race. We have 5 laps of fuel remaining. Nice work, that's P1. Race win. Well done.
That's a spectacular victory then, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. Let's have a look then at the drivers' standings. Our championship leader is still sat at the top of the standings, but their rivals have made up some solid ground today. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice. Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race, However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event. I know that's at odds with the official decision, but I think they deserve some recognition on a day where both of these drivers are at the top of their game.
Nothing can challenge the leaders of the Constructors' Championship at this point, but it's another clear win for Mercedes as they manage to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ants, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
The fans really seemed to enjoy that. You made it look easy. Was there really any competition for you today? What do you think made the difference between this weekend and last weekend? Great. Well, that's everything.